It's the start of the year, and you're just getting into the groove of a new plant-based diet lifestyle change. But now you have a new problem on your hands. You're wanting to fill your fridge and freezer with more healthful plant-based foods, but there's no space. It's not that your top freezer refrigerator is too small, it's that you still have frozen meats taking up at least half your freezer. So now what do? Toss it all out? But you can't do that because it just seems wasteful. Can you relate? Well, I've been through this situation before in my transition and remember what a headache it was at the time, trying to work through what to do with all the meats I had previously bought. So in this episode, let me give you 3 plant-based diet transition scenarios and possible solutions to consider. I hope this will help you decide how best to handle the remaining meats and other animal-based foods in your freezer so you can clear up and maximize that space going forward for your new plant-based diet lifestyle. Let's get started. Welcome to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Anna Zinn, plant-based registered dietitian and transition coach. Hi friend, do you want to regain your health with plant-based eating but feel overwhelmed and lost about how to do it? Do you feel it'll be hard to change your meat-heavy diet and impossible with working, running the home, or chasing after the grandkids? If so, you're in the right place. Here you'll find simple strategies, clear nutrition guidance, and practical tips to help you thrive plant-powered with more energy. So if you're ready to ditch the guesswork and transform your health the stress-free way, cozy up now with a hot cup of tea or listen while you walk, and let me show you how doable plant-based eating can be. Let's do this. A couple of weeks ago, I received this wonderful positive feedback from a member of my community, and I want to share it with you and spotlight her. She said, "I'm feeling very excited and positive about the future, and I must say it's been a while since I could say that. You say so much in your podcast that is relevant, simple, and doable. That is what has helped me make the decision to join your course. In the podcast, you talked about setting a goal, even if it's just a little one to start with, like introducing some new vegetables, setting a target of what percentage of whole food eating you want to get to, then review it. It all just made sense. And for someone like me, it's a lot more doable and practical. So thank you for giving me back that spark of believing that I'm not too old, I can do this, and one step at a time, even if they are small steps as long as I am moving forward. Thank you." Thank you for this feedback. It encourages me so much to know that this podcast has been helping you in your plant-based diet journey and in seeing that change is possible in your own health circumstance. You're absolutely right. There's never a time that is too late and never an age that is too old to start plant-based eating. Breaking this lifestyle change down into smaller bite-sized pieces to make it easier and more doable is what I am passionate about. And it's what I aim to do on this podcast and through my Plant Power Life Transformation course. I'm so excited to hear that you've decided to join my online PPLT course. I hope it will benefit you greatly as you move into a thriving plant power lifestyle and optimal wellness. Friend, if this podcast has also benefited you in your health journey, would you take a moment to tell me about it through a rating and review on Apple Podcasts? Share with me your thoughts about this podcast. I would love to hear about it, and it will encourage me so much. Here's how to do it. If you have an Apple device, find the Apple Podcast app icon. It's purple with white circles. Open it, then search for Plant-Based Eating Made Easy. Once there, scroll all the way down past the 5-star symbols, then click on Write a Review. Leave a star rating, write your review, then click Send or Submit. That's it. You can also leave a review if you have iTunes downloaded on your PC computer. Pause this episode right now to leave a review, then resume listening. Thank you so much for your support of this podcast and in helping it reach more people who need help and support in their plant-based diet transition. Now let's move into today's topic. Getting started on a plant-based diet can definitely be an exciting thing. There are lots of new ingredients and colorful plant-based foods to try, as well as different spices, seasonings, tastes, and flavors to sample. But what about all those old foods still sitting in your home, especially in your freezer? Now there's no space for new foods because your old lifestyle foods are crowding out your top freezer. Do you just toss it all out? On the surface, this seems like a simple question with a simple solution, but it's not. Let me explain. I was in a similar situation when I made my diet transition many years ago. I was learning how to cook with new whole food ingredients like lentils, beans, and whole grains, and creating and trying out new sides and entree dishes. But slowly, my top freezer started to get too full of stuff. I wasn't buying any more meats, but I knew there was still a stash of frozen flank steak, chicken breast, and some pork ribs in my freezer. Plus, I've had some well-meaning friends who didn't know about our family's diet change pass me some meats. So I didn't know what to do with it all, and I didn't really want to throw all that food away. That's where I was stuck. You see, I come from an Asian background and a family of modest means. So while we weren't penny pinching, we also didn't splurge on big ticket items often. So as part of my upbringing and personality, I was always someone who wanted to save more than spend. So tossing food away, even animal-based foods like meats, just felt like a waste. Plus, I'm a big recycler, so the mantra of reduce, reuse, and recycle is often on my mind. If you've come from a similar upbringing or ethnic background, I'm sure you can relate to this. At first, I just tried to ignore the old meat sitting there and just kept stuffing my freezer. But obviously, I quickly realized it wouldn't work to keep doing so. For one thing, the frozen meats were getting pushed farther and farther back and then getting freezer burn. I also knew the longer the meat sat there, the worse quality they would get in terms of cooked texture. I eventually figured out different ways to deal with this meat issue, and that's what I want to share with you today. If you're like the way I was, you're probably having a similar situation of freezer overload on your hands right now. It's a practical issue, but one that needs addressing. And since this podcast is all about simple strategies and clear nutrition guidance to help you transform your health, we can tackle all aspects of making a diet transition here, big or small. Obviously, if you have the financial means to, and have no qualms about tossing out unused frozen meats and other animal-based food products from your home, then by all means go ahead and do that. But for those who can't or don't want to, let's look at possible solutions from 3 transition scenarios. The first scenario is this. You're making a more gradual plant-based diet transition and not any overnight switch. This can apply to your family as well. How fast or slow you want to change to plant-based eating really depends on your existing health issues and how quickly you want to reach your health and weight goals. But if this is the case, first stop buying any more red meats, poultry, fish, or other animal-based foods and bringing that home. Otherwise, this will just worsen the freezer or fridge problem you have and create more of a headache down the road. Then you can concentrate on dealing with the frozen meats remaining in your home. Depending on your transition timeline, this could mean using up these animal-based products in meals for yourself and or family members. The second scenario is this. You've made a complete switch to plant-based eating, but your family is still eating a regular diet. You no longer want to eat meats and other animal-based foods, but your family still is, though you hope they will also be able to transition to this healthier way of eating. Well, in this case, here's what I recommend. Commit first to not buying any more meats and other animal-based foods if you already have some at home. This will allow you a time period to use up the existing stores in your freezer and fridge by using what you already have on hand to make meals for the rest of your family. Depending on the size of your frozen meat stores, it may take a few days to a few weeks to clear it. This may also force you to get creative in terms of the dishes you make. Then after the stores of frozen meats and other animal-based foods have been depleted, you can reassess the situation. Where is your family now in terms of openness and readiness for change and to try plant-based foods? If there is more openness, this will guide you in terms of what animal-based foods, if any, to now buy in the future, and how much. If not, there are other strategies you can employ for helping with your family's transition to a plant-powered diet, and you can be more strategic in terms of the animal-based foods you do buy going forward. Now on to the third transition scenario. You're only cooking for one, and you've made a complete switch to plant-based eating. You've decided to make this lifestyle switch for good and don't have a family to feed. So now you're wanting a place for those meats to go. Along with committing to not buying any more meats to bring home, here are 3 options you can consider for those frozen meats and products still sitting in your freezer. Option 1. Pass those extra frozen meats and other animal-based items to a friend or neighbor who can use them. Option 2. Make a meat-based dish and bring it to your next holiday dinner, church potluck gathering, or family celebration meal event. And here's a third option you can consider. Each time you host a dinner in your home and invite guests over, these are friends or family members who are on a regular diet, you can make a dish using those frozen meats to serve them. This way, your family and friends can help you finish up the meats from your freezer gradually, and you don't have to. This is in fact what one of my clients did. After we started working together, and he had moved to a plant-predominant lifestyle, he told me he still had a freezer chest full of beautiful meats that he didn't want to throw away. So he ended up just keeping them until his relatives came to visit, and then he grilled some of it for them. Which of these options most appealed to you? I remember using all 3 of these solutions during my transition days. Then after I had used up the frozen meats from my freezer, I would make plant-based dishes for dinner guests and for future potlucks. So today I gave you 3 different transition scenarios and options for how to use up the meats and other animal-based foods sitting in your freezer so you can clear out space for your new plant-based diet lifestyle. Now here's an action step you can take. Pick one of these suggestions I've given you and try it out. Give some of your frozen meats away to a friend or neighbor, or make a dish with it for the next potluck or guest dinner at home. It will slowly but surely get used up. Are you lying awake at night, wishing you had less pain in your joints, back stiffness, and more energy? Or are you worrying about what your doctor just told you about your high cholesterol levels or out-of-range blood sugars, and now having to take more diabetes or cholesterol meds to try to keep things in control? But you're worried. What if those meds slowly stop working and you'll need insulin or heart surgery? I know. You want to move to a healthier way of eating, but it can feel scary and super overwhelming because you have no idea where to even begin to change over your lifestyle, one that you've been having for decades. Or maybe you're currently feeling defeated and super frustrated in trying to transition to plant-based eating on your own, but you seem to be getting nowhere close to reaching those health and weight goals you wanted. Let's connect and see if I can help support you to reach those goals you want to meet. Email me at healthnow@plantnourish.com or apply for a risk-free rapid health transformation call with me using the link in the show notes. This way, I can better understand your current situation, troubleshoot specific challenges you may have around plant-based eating, and provide recommendations on what I think the next best steps would be for you. Let me help you get unstuck so you can confidently reach your desired goals and live a fuller, more active life with less pain, less meds, and more energy. Thank you so much for listening. If this podcast has inspired, encouraged, or helped you in some way to transform your health, I would love to hear about it. Please take 30 seconds to rate and leave a written review on Apple Podcasts to let me know. It will encourage me so much to hear how this podcast has positively impacted and made a difference in your journey towards wellness. And share about this podcast with a friend or loved one so we can all thrive in the best health. Remember, plant-based eating can be easy and doable. See you in the next episode, my friend.